Welcome back, everybody. Final half hour here on a busy Friday show. What to watch might take about 5 minutes here because we got lots going on this weekend. We'll tell you all about that before we wrap up things as we are in the stretch run of the basketball seasons, both in North Dakota and in Minnesota. For our next guest, his team has been humming along, have not lost a game yet in 2026. They enter tonight's game with Verndale, a mark of 23-0. They are always fun to watch. The Henning Hornets, who won the state championship, gosh, back in 2019, one of the great stories that I've had a chance to cover around here. Their head coach is Randy Misegades, who joins us here on this Friday morning. As mentioned, Henning is unbeaten. Big game with Verndale tonight. Coach, it's great to see you. How you been?
I've been doing well. It's a fun time of year, and thanks for having us on.
So we were visiting briefly off air. This is beyond what you thought? Obviously, unbeaten. You probably don't have a whole lot to criticize, but is this beyond what you guys thought for this season?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I was just telling our coaches too. We've got 4 new starters, and really the only guy that played a whole bunch was Kale, and he spent most of last year,
hurt.
On the shelf hurt. So. We had a couple guys that are starting now that played off the bench last year, but for the most part, it's all brand new guys outside of Kale. So if you would have told me in November we were going to be where we are, I would have said you're crazy. But the kids believe it, and they've kind of waited their turn, and we'll see where the rest of the season takes us.
Well, that's just great coaching then, right?
Yeah, that's what we tell everyone. But if you take credit for the good years, I guess you got to take the heat when it doesn't go so well.
Tell me about this team and when you maybe started thinking, hey, we got something. Like, when did it click that we could maybe do something this season?
Yeah, we went into, right before Christmas, we had a stretch where on paper, I thought we could lose four games in a row. And we played Pelican, went to a holiday tournament over in Fergus, and we were able to beat Wahpeton and then Fergus. Yep. And that's where, you kind of realize, yeah, maybe we're better than we're giving ourselves credit for. And, those are all quality teams. And obviously we could see Pelican again, along with the rest of the teams. That's a gauntlet in 6A. But I think that's where we kind of, sat up a little bit and said, hey, maybe we're pretty good again.
You mentioned Kale, your son, and I remember calling the game last year in the 6A championship at Concordia and how well he played there, and just how much is appreciating him being back out there, being healthy, and being a contributor, and as big a contributor as he's been for your team this season.
Yeah, I mean, as a dad and as a coach, after last year, I have a new appreciation for kids being healthy. And I was just texting another coach who's a friend of mine down the road here, whose son is dealing with some injury stuff. And, you feel some sympathy and some empathy for some people going through that. But it's been a blessing just to see Kale healthy. And I think it honestly took till, he wouldn't have told you at the time, but I think we were into June or July before he really felt he was full go.
Wow.
I think he's in a good spot now, and hopefully it stays that way.
So he's committed. He's going to go play in the Northern Sun at Southwest State. Is there a direct route from Henning to Marshall? That's the
no. There is no good way to get there. Quite honestly, it's about 2 hours and 45 minutes, and we've taken every route possible, I think, and so we've seen some different things. But he's super excited to be there, and that's the spot he wanted to be all along, and that was his first offer, and quite honestly, we didn't wait around a whole lot, talked to a few people, and that's the offer he wanted, and that's the one he got. So we think the world of Brad Bigler and the coaching staff down there, and just top-notch person. And outside of basketball, that's just where, as a parent, you feel comfortable having your kid.
How is that for you dealing, take the coach hat off, put dad hat on during the recruiting process?
Yeah, it's interesting because, I'm not sure. I think AAU ends up being a big part of it. Kale played for the Minnesota Comets out of St. Cloud. And I don't know how many coaches are getting, and obviously they're in their season too. So they're not watching high school games a whole bunch. And then I don't know how, quite honestly, I'm not sure what college coaches, if they're taking Class A competition in Minnesota super serious. So you go play against the best kind of in the spring and summer. And that's where the biggest recruiting happened for Kale was during the AAU season. So at that point I was just a dad, and that made it fun too. Just go watch. And my wife and I, we were kind of always pulling for SMSU all along for him to make that choice. And that's the choice he made. Maybe with a little bit of influence from his parents, but that's where he wants to be. So he's super excited for that next step.
I got to ask about last year being back at the state tournament, have that experience after what happened in 2019. And then, you have a team maybe that could do it again. What was it like last year after having the ultimate high of what 2019 was?
Yeah. I mean, I think especially in a small school, coming out of a section with 20 plus teams, and you realize that it's really, really hard to do just to get there. And, so you try to, I mean, these kids watched our 2019, 2020 teams, but at the same time, they got to kind of have their own identity too. And it's new and it's different for them. And so you just try to embrace it and let them enjoy the experience. But at the same time, they want to go compete and win too. So they didn't play their best game last year in that quarterfinal, but to come out of there with 2 wins to finish the tournament was a great experience.
So I was actually talking about this with Sam Getzinger upstairs a couple weeks ago when we were looking ahead, and your section is loaded. I'm not telling anything you don't know for our viewers, though. I mean, you're in it. Pelican, Breckenridge, Park Christian's really good. Hillcrest. Heck, Hillcrest and Breck made the state football championship game, so they're going to be good. When you got to look at this, were you like, what are we doing this year? The ACC here?
It's really silly. I mean, we played Hankinson last Saturday and talking to Coach Mock there, and I was liking the model that North Dakota uses, where you don't have to win you don't have to win. I think they call it districts in North Dakota, and you can not win it and still get to state. And that makes a lot of sense because it's silly right now, Section 6, and we knew it was going to be good, but Benson is fairly new to our section too, and they've only got a couple losses, and you go all the way down to New York Mills. I mean, they're in our conference. They played us tough twice. They're going to be a 9 or a 10 seed probably. It's really crazy. So you're going to have to play 4 quality teams to get out of the section.
And I mean, your team certainly knows that, but how much do you even need to address it once you get ready for section time?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's our guys know, and I mean, partly because I don't let them forget, but we're talking about it every day. And, as we get through the conference season and start trending towards section play, just try. I mean, I know it's coach speak, but you try to have that one game at a time mentality because you really truly can't control the next one. And as coaches, you're preparing for that next one just because you have to, but you don't know who your opponent's going to be. And we tell the kids all the time, you don't have to win pretty in March. You just find a way to win, whatever that looks like.
One of my favorite things about when I was still working the news every night was going to a game like in your place on a Friday night like this, just how packed it would be. The intensity was up just for that, like tonight in Verndale. I'm sure it's going to be amped up. Just what is that like on a Friday night knowing everybody's coming for your team and they want to beat you guys?
Yeah, and I mean, our kids have kind of embraced that too. They know they're going to get everybody's best shot, and we're already here. We finish our regular season with not to jump ahead, but Underwood comes here on a Friday night, and we'll probably lock the doors. We'll have 600 or 700 people in this gym, and it'll be wild, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The community, even for our girls last night, we had a full gym. So it's not the newest facility. It's not maybe the nicest facility.
Oh, it's fantastic.
But when it gets rocking, it's a lot of fun to play in.
Is it always been that way for basketball? Has it been recent, obviously, with your success a few years ago? What can you describe why basketball has such a hold there?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Henning, I tell the kids all the time, you better be fortunate because even use the example of Kale, like you'll go to play Division II basketball, but you'll never play in front of a crowd like this.
No
I mean,
way.
maybe there's as many people. I don't know, maybe not. But I mean, the atmosphere is just different. You'll never duplicate it, and the community just supports it for whatever reason. And obviously, you put a good product on the floor, more people show up, and it kind of maybe turned the corner. The 2015, 2016, and we had consistently pretty good teams, and we've been fortunate. I mean, we've been ranked in the top 10 in the state probably every year but one for the last 7 or 8 years. So it's become kind of a culture, and not only people from Henning, but even surrounding communities will show up, just to watch good basketball.
Is there a road site you go to that you just not necessarily maybe dread that like, oh, this is going to be a hornet's nest, no pun intended, you're walking into?
Yeah. I think for us in conference, the recent one has been Pillager, which is right near Brainerd. They're a 2A school. We're in our conference, eight teams in our conference, and we're easily the smallest. Pillager's, we're graduating between 25 and 30, and Pillager's, 3 or 4 times that at least. So we've been fortunate to have some success up there, but it's always a really tough place to go play. Newark Mills has been, they were the last conference team to beat us. I mean, now we have our last conference game tonight. We've clinched, but we've been fortunate. We haven't lost a conference game in 4 years, and Newark Mills was the last team to beat us. Wow. So hopefully we can keep that string alive, and that's kind of a feather in our cap too, I think.
I'll go back to you talking about playing in front of crowd, like your game last year at Concordia. I mean, I don't know for Kale. I hope he has some big crowd. I don't know if he's going to have anything beat that. That was electric last year. I imagine if you guys make it back, it's going to be the same thing.
Yeah, and it's just it's kind of that sea of orange, and it's just different. I don't know how to explain it, but we have it's just just kind of a little side note, but some of those fans, and we have a guy who's in his mid 90s that comes to all our home games, and there's a group of retired guys that they're traveling everywhere. It doesn't matter where we are, they show up. I mean, I got a text last Saturday from a guy who's retired, lives down the road, and he was looking for our game at Moorhead High School. He was wandering around Concordia trying to find out where the game was, and he was in the wrong spot. So he missed the JV game, but we just have little pockets of people like that awesome. That just they're in the gym early and they're excited about it, and then there's just a lot of excitement from just alumni and then our young kids, and it's fun in a small school because our 7th and 8th graders tonight, they'll ride the bus and go with, and they'll be in the locker room and they'll see what it's about. And it just kind of is, we've been fortunate because success breeds success, and everybody's excited about it.
Do those older guys give you tips on how to coach, I imagine, right?
Oh, a little bit for sure. Yeah. They've got their own ideas. And the guy I was talking about, he'll drop me little notes about, things that we could improve on. And he bought our kids. He showed up at school last week with a gift certificate for pizza for all the guys. Nice. So he gave that to Kale and Ryan Despard, and they'll take the guys downtown and go have pizza one night. So it's a pretty supportive environment and a lot of fun.
Now, last thing, do you get any texts from anybody named Wallivan? Does he send you any tips? He's a great basketball mind, he tells me. So
you cut out for 1 second there, Dom. Text from who?
Exactly. That Wallivan guy, he never texts you anything, right?
You just cut out again. I'm sorry. What, are you talking about Kevin?
That guy. Yeah.
Okay. All right. The name cut out. Yeah. He has not texted me for a while, but I saw he was in Moorhead last Saturday. He was at the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's obviously tied to a lot of people in Henning, and he's a lot of fun to have around, and to have that connection to WDAY and Kevin has been good for us.
It's great to see you, bud. Thanks so much for the time. Congrats on a great year, and good luck tonight, and maybe I'll see you in a couple weeks, okay?
Yeah, we hope that's the case. Thanks a lot, Dom.
There he goes. Randy Misegades joining us, head coach of the Henning boys, unbeaten at 23-0, near the top of the rankings in Class A boys basketball. Reminder that we will bring you the 6A section championship game. That is officially 3 weeks from tonight at Concordia. I've had the pleasure of doing those games. Heck, before we got the state tournament contracts, I did them for about 3, 4, 5 years and have done them for the last couple. And last year called Henning's win over, I think, West Central to get them to get to state. It was fantastic. There's nothing like those games over at Concordia. It's loud. It's hot. It'll be just that way in a few weeks' time. Looking forward to that. And if Henning gets there, boy, like I mentioned, the teams that are there, Pelican, Breck, Hillcrest Lutheran, Breck and Hillcrest played, we know, in the Prep Bowl in football. Those guys are playing basketball. They're awfully darn good. Our thanks to Coach for giving us a few minutes here. All right, we'll take our final break. We come back. We'll get you all set. We'll give you all the wrestling TV info you need and everything else. We wrap up a week of shows right after this.